Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome back to the Den of the Wonder. So today, I have another book review. Witchy book review? I should come up with a name for these. I don't know. Guess I'm just not that kind of creative. But today, we're going to talk about Journey to the Dark Goddess, How to Return to Your Soul by Jane Meredith. So I just finished this book on Audible. I think it was 8 hours, don't quote me, maybe 9, maybe 7, somewhere in that range. It wasn't very long. I was able to get through it in a couple of days. I didn't actually try to listen to it all in one setting, which is probably for the best because it's kind of a heavy book. And let's get into it. I enjoyed a lot of this book. I will say that. I'd say it's a 4 out of 5 something or others. Whatevers. I've had somebody pitch a couple of ideas of what to call the arbitrary rating system I'm going by. I haven't decided on anything yet. If you guys have some ideas, also pop those down below. But for now, it's 4 out of 5 something or others. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty heavy. It had some really interesting things. It made me really kind of think and be a little introspective, which is always really good. I really enjoy books like that. The premise of the book is working through your personal underworlds, and I'm going to say underworlds in air quotes, because it's not actually like a journey to the underworld so much as going through a system of releasing so that you can start fresh or start, making major changes in your life and then reclaiming what you released and having a healthier attitude towards it moving forward. So it was interesting. It starts with explaining the story of Inanna. In great detail, you go through the whole system, like the whole 7 gates to the underworld and stuff, and the entirety of Inanna's journey from start to finish. From start to finish in the book. So it's really cohesive. It follows throughout. I really enjoyed that. Because every section kind of breaks down another stage in the journey. So I like that. It also covers the story of Persephone and Psyche and Eros in less detail, but still really thorough, enough for you to understand the comparisons that she's making. I really enjoyed Jane Meredith's writing style. I didn't find it boring in the least. The introduction was not painful, which is always a plus for me. It also wasn't an hour and a half, so double plus. I don't know. I have a lot of good feelings about this book. I will say, I don't know if I thought the whole version of Psyche's story really applied so much to what was happening. I feel like there's some stretching happening. But otherwise, I thought that the book was well written, well thought out. I would like to see more on this topic, especially from this author in the future. And as I understand, she has another book called Aspecting the Deity. Don't quote me on that either. Which is, I guess, has more to do with working with, goddess energy or something like that. I haven't actually read the book description because I obviously did not come prepared for this particular review. So I'm interested in reading more from the author and getting more of her insight there. She is a pagan, so a lot of her stances are from a pagan perspective. And so there are things that are distinctly witchy, such as going through a whole ritual process, calling quarters, things like that. It's not for every single step, thankfully. It's just an example that she gives a couple of times throughout the book. And I like that a lot of the times when you read these kind of books, it's always like a coin toss as to whether or not you're getting an actual pagan or if you're just getting somebody using goddess archetypes for their philosophy concepts or things like that. So I will say that was a nice thing to find out and see. Once I saw that, it made some of the things a little more relatable and a little more understandable, so those kind of clicked. I did enjoy her telling of the Inanna story, as well as her personal Inanna journey, because she went to a retreat or something like that, where they did the whole workshop for Inanna's descent into the underworld. So I thought that was an interesting thing, and that's also throughout the book. A lot of her anecdotes about her life and going through her own personal underworlds and then recovering and leaving the underworld was really interesting. Like I said, this book gave me a lot to think on. It gave me some perspectives on my relationships with life and death and finding the balance in between those, as well as sort of accepting that when things are tough or I'm in a place where I'm not happy with where I'm at and I'm kind of depressed, I'm probably going through my own personal underworld, and I need to like release some things in order to move on and actually achieve the success or the happiness that I'm actually, desiring. Sorry, I just punched the camera for no reason. And I guess that's it. I don't really know what else to say. There's a motorcycle outside, because there's always one when I start recording, but I'm not going to cut out this time. And yeah, that's it. I would recommend this book for sure, especially if you are going through a tough time or you're looking on how to make some constructive changes. This does have like a lot of shadow work elements to it, and I know that's become something that's gaining sort of popularity as like the self-care movement picks up. I've noticed that like a lot more people are looking to get into shadow work, and this is definitely that. I will say, and I thought that this was kind of like really cool of the author to also mention, some of this work is actually pretty heavy, and if you're not like in a mental place where you can handle that kind of stuff, don't do it. You don't have to do it. It doesn't make you a better witch to do it. And you have to know your own limitations and what you can take on. And if you don't respect those or work within those like boundaries that you have, you'll end up doing more damage or more harm than good. So that was a thing. It also, in the book, it calls for having a person, like an anchor, someone you can be like, hey, come check on me if you haven't heard from me for a little bit, because I'm trying to do this work, which I also thought was really important and a really like valid safety sort of thing when you're doing like a lot of intense shadow work. Sometimes you just need someone to call you back and be like, hey, it's actually not as bad as you're thinking it is, or you're not as awful as you just decided that you were because you spent 2 hours thinking about your faults in great depth and detail. So that was really interesting, and a lot of authors who do this kind of work will tell you that. So I thought that was really beneficial. So like extra points for that indeed. What else can I think of? The book is not exclusionary, or it's pretty. What's it called? Inter something. It's inclusive of everybody. It doesn't necessarily say that you have to be cisgendered female to work with this book. It actually, she explained some stuff that she did for her husband at one point, or her ex-husband. I'm not really sure. And some work that was done there. So it's it kind of includes everybody, and there's no gendering of any aspect of deity, just how to work with a dark goddess to travel through your personal underworld and how to relate those stories to your own personal lives. So, yeah, that's going to be it for me. I think I've talked about this book long enough. Check it out. If you have read it, definitely let me know in the comments below. I would love to chat with you about it down there. And if you're thinking of reading it, let me know. Are there any books that you guys would recommend for people who are interested in shadow work? It's not something I'm particularly interested in, but it is something that keeps recurring as a theme, which tells me I kind of need to pay a little more attention to it, like synchronicities. But otherwise, I don't know. I think next up I might be reading, I just got a rune book from Kim, so I'm going to be reading that. So thank you, Kim. And, I'm reading a book on Slavic witchcraft right now, which is pretty interesting, and I can't wait to bring that to you guys and tell you what I have learned. As well as, I think I have another book sort of in this similar theme of working with the feminine divine, as well as another conjure book, or another like hoodoo root work book. So that's what I got kind of coming up. I do have another book on pre-order, but I haven't really committed to actually buying it yet, so it's just sitting in my cart. But look for that coming in February, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it. Like, I kind of really want it. So it's going to happen either way. But that's it for me, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Until next time, happy travels. Bye!